like you and I, Dad and Michelle too, we've been using habits and like talking about podcasts that are centered around habits and reading books that are centered around habits. And I think it's only natural for us to kind of lead by example and try to incorporate a new one into our own personal lives.
So the more that we do all this stuff, right, the more we've learned, and gone from the physical more to the mental, and the stuff that I've learned as a mental health counselor really merges with the physical stuff. And I really believe that the present moment awareness and focus is the window into everything else, and particularly around habits, right? I think we all have a lot of habits that, it's said that, anywhere from 70 to 90% based on who you listen to. But I agree with the figure. Our habits are unconscious. We just do them. And a lot of them are good, right? But some aren't. And then there's some that we want to probably add. And this meditation is a good example. And by starting with this habit, what it does is gives you that present moment awareness and grounding, right? So that you can have a little space between you and the realities of life and all the events and the stimulus, right? And that you can see things better. And then you can plan things. You can choose your day, how it's going to go, instead of having your day and your unconscious habits run your day. So I believe the meditation is a key, and that's why I want to do it in the morning.
Michelle, what do you think that you'd like to incorporate into your life a little bit more?
I'm going to concentrate more on the strength training. With adding cardio in, because I'm in a cardio training now for Falmouth, but just upping my game with strength training. I've done a lot so far, but I think now my body's at like a plateau, so I need to kick it up a notch. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on.
And I think you did a good job already doing it without a cue, but like something that my father and myself like to do a lot is think about what's going well, what we might like to improve on, and then how we're going to take steps to do it. So it sounds like you got a good cardio base going, your training's going well for Falmouth, and now keeping that going, you want to incorporate some strength work, right? And Dad, it sounds like physical is going super well, mental and emotional is going well too, don't get me wrong, but the meditation is something that's been missing for you and that you want to incorporate a little bit more?
Yeah. So, and I think the meditation is going to bring me into being, so I can really take a clearer look at what I'm doing, and if it matches up with the things that make me, the person I love being.
I think that brings into like a good thing that we all need to incorporate a new habit, and that's the planning is just as important in creating an effective new habit, a positive new habit. And it's something that I kind of got away from in my own personal life. And what I want to incorporate more of is yoga. And when I find that I'm doing yoga on a regular basis, my body feels better, my mind feels better, but I just haven't been lately. And in order for me to incorporate yoga practice, I need a plan to do it. So I need to start on top of reflecting back on what's going well. I need to plan on how things are going to go well. So I think the way that I'm going to do that is I want to average 10 minutes of yoga a day. So that means I could do 10 minutes at the beginning of the day and be done with it for the day. Or if I miss a day, I could do 20 the next day. That way I don't have to be like, oh, I missed my 10 minutes today. I failed for the week. I can get one yoga class in a week, one 60-minute yoga class, and that'll get me to it too. And I just think if I plan my week on Sunday for the week that's coming up, I'll be able to accomplish that goal. And in planning for it and then in doing it, I'll be more likely to continue it throughout the month. It can turn into one of those habits that I don't think about, right? Like along those lines, Michelle. So how are you going to plan an effective new strength regimen that you're going to be likely to continue?
I'm actually going to start writing it down. I'm going to, plan my days of upper body, with abs, lower body. And then one day will be a full body. And I'm hoping to do 2 to 3 days, but I'm going to write down what I do and write down the weight that I use. which normally I don't do. I do my workouts. What do I want to do today? I normally come in and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do arms, and I'll go and do arms, and I'll do the weight that I, feel around.
So many people do that in the gym. Like you could just see it when you're working at the front desk or when you're training somebody and you see people come in and they kind of just come in, they look around, they're like, all right, which bench is open or which the treadmill's open? All right, I'm going to go on the treadmill for 5 minutes. But when you have a plan, when you enter the gym, now this goes for everybody, not just somebody that works there. If you have a plan, you'll be so much more likely to get it done and to get an effective workout done.
Yeah.
Right?
So when before I enter the gym, I'll have my piece of paper, or I'll have it on my phone in my notes, and I'll know what I'm going to do. And I'll write down the weights that I'm at, so I'll track it to see where I need to be and how it feels. When it's time to move up in weight.
And so, Dad, how are you going to plan to incorporate the meditation into like an effective schedule for you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think taking the 10 minutes and committing to it, because there's 1,440 minutes in a day. I can't, that whole I don't have time thing we all wrestle with, I have 10 minutes. And I want to daily commitment because of what it does for me. It centers me, grounds me, gives me a clear lens to look through, and I respond better and participate better in life. So I'm going to do that every morning to start the day. And the types of meditation. So we're going to do breath meditation, loving kindness meditation, noting meditation. So there's 3 meditations right there, the noticing meditation. And, yoga, Thomas, is a moving meditation. And that's another step, I think, towards life. It's almost levels the playing field to like what's really important. What's important is me doing the best I can to start my day, right, centered, grounded with a good lens, connect with other people, and move through the day being resilient and being, a participant of different communities. I think communities plural is something we should all strive for.
Yeah, I think communities plural is great, and I think that's what these 3 options that we're kind of giving people will really tie into. It's because so you're going to focus on meditation, Michelle. You're going to be sharing stuff about your own personal strength training, and I'm going to be sharing my reintroduction to yoga. And the beauty of it all is that this is kind of a program that people could jump on with us, whether they've done it forever or never done it before, so that if somebody else has never done yoga before, they could kind of use my experience over the next week or 2 or a month to introduce themselves to yoga, and I'll be sharing some stuff that I like to do on my own, whether that's a 5 or 10 minute video that I share, or just an explanation of the different yoga practices that I've liked in the past, or I'm going to be sharing when I plan to take a class, whether it's at Eastside Yoga or whether it's at one of our boot camps that I just kind of drop into that you're instructing to get some yoga practice in, or anywhere else. I'll share that, and I'll invite other people to join me when they can. And I think Michelle, kind of the same. What you're going to do is you're going to share your plan for the month, and then your weekly plans, which sounds like you want to get 2 to 3 strength workouts in a week, an upper body, a lower body, a full body, whatever it may be. And if someone hasn't been doing any strength training, or has been but kind of lost their way and their rhythm, their routine, they could join in and follow you along your journey, right? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yes. Yep. That's exactly what I'm thinking. And then, as I post, or record my workouts, I will put in what I'm doing for weight and what I've done, but I'll also have in it, if you're a beginner or intermediate, these are the different types of weights, that you could use, just so people don't think like, hey, jumping right in, I'm going to
Right,
go.
right. And there's so many different strength phases. Like you'll most likely be in the endurance phase of strength training, where it's that high rep, that lighter weight, that shorter recovery, but that recovery time is something that's really important for them to touch base on. So that's something that we'll share along with your experience too. And now, Dad, kind of same with you in the same way that I was talking about it. You have been meditating for a while, and you've tried a bunch of different stuff. You learned a bunch of different stuff along the way. So people that want to join in can they can have never meditated before, or they could have been doing it forever. And by joining in on one of your 5 or 10 minute meditations, or just kind of experiencing your journey throughout the way, they'll be able to jump in, take what works for them, leave behind what doesn't. But even a 10-minute shitty meditation is better than 10 minutes of social media, right?
Yeah, and I've had a lot of 10-minute shitty meditations, so it's a
Right.
real helpful one. So it saves shitty days from happening. So one of the things is that you're talking about right now is something that I've thought of often is ordinary people, us, teaching other ordinary people. So we're teaching them extra. We're doing extra. We become extraordinary, ordinary to extraordinary. And, you know, I just want to have one good day. And I want it to be better because of meditation. And I want to do it with other people. And that's why us ordinary people joining with other ordinary people, that's extraordinary, extraordinary, right? And that's what we're doing here. And that's why I think it's great because you're learning together, right? We're just, we're getting back at it. That's the big thing. Like Michelle in particular, when you were saying that, Michelle, like, this is what I'm going to do. I noticed this. I'm going to go back. So we go back, and that's when we learn. Repetition is the mother of all learning, And are we going to do this perfect? No. But we're going to do it in the format that we're developing. We're going to lead into other things. And so I'm excited. And
the beauty of this is they can do all three if they want. They could follow along with the meditation if they've been missing that out of their life. They could jump on Michelle's strength training program. They could follow me in my journey into getting yoga back implemented into my life. And if they do all three, then they're going to reap the benefits physically. They're going to reap the benefits mentally. They're going to reap the benefits emotionally.
And like you said, there may be people who might not do it with us, but see us, and it sets the light off, Like they'll say, what, I got to kind of commit to yoga too, or I got to think about that meditation, And just by you doing it, I'm like, I kind of got to get my ass in gear with the yoga too. So,
and I think, just putting all that together too, like you just said, like we'll plan at the beginning of each week, but we're planning at the beginning of the month for what we're trying to accomplish. I'm incorporating 60 minutes of yoga in a week. Michelle, what are you getting done?
I'm going to do, I'm definitely doing 2 days a week of strength training. And then a goal, hoping to do 3 days a week.
All right. Dad, what's your plan?
It's to meditate 10 minutes a day for the month. So if I said to someone, can you meditate, and I did it today at the class I just taught, can you meditate for 5 hours next month? And they were like, no. I said, could you meditate for 10 minutes a day? They said, yeah. I said, well, it's the same thing. And it's pays off. So that's the goal, 10 minutes a day.
And it's doable. And the beauty of it, like we said, if they decide to do all three, then at the end of this month, when we do our recap, we'll tie it all together into one 45-minute workout where we get a 10-minute meditation in as a group. We got a 10-minute yoga flow as a group. We got a 10-minute strength training as a group. And then we take whatever time after that to reflect on what went well in the month, what we could maybe improve on for next month, and then what new habits that we want to add into our lives, and then maybe some habits that we want to get rid of, because that's another whole